Hi, welcome to Learn, Do and Grow. I'm Sok. Today I'm going to show you some trick and something that to remember for speed. So after today's lesson, I hope when you apply that technique, you should be able to solve any speed problem that you face during the exam or assessment. Okay, shall we start? Okay, look at this. These are what you need to know. For this, you need to know firstly the formula and what other scenario that it can happen for problem related to speed. Okay, and how are how each sub formula relate to each other. Later, I will let you know more about that. Okay, let's look at the formula first. If you are unable to remember this formula, I did one video before this to tell you how to remember. For this, I'm going to go through very fast. And if you have any questions or you want to know more, please refer to my previous video. It's about how to remember speed formula for life. So in this case, we have D, we have S, you have T. Why do I put D here? Assuming that these three, they are running in a race. And then in A, B, C, D, D come first, right? And after that, all the way S second, T third. So when we put here, first, second, third. And if you want to find D, we just have to block D. What do you see? You see S time T. So that is a formula. What if I want to find S? Speed. Then I block speed. What do you see? You see D divided by T. If you want to find T, I block T. You will see V divided by S. So this is the main formula. And of course, if you want to find average speed, meaning average speed is S, total distance divided by total time. Okay? So for scenario there are quite a number of scenario, but if you to sum up, right? Let's look at one object moving. So let's say this is the town A to B. It's either the object move from town A to B or town B to A. And when there is only one object, we only have one distance, speed, and time. Okay? Now I'm going to make this a bit more complicated. So now one object, but I start at this time and I stop over here. So when there is a one scenario like this, I can say that over here I consider as D1, maybe the first part of the journey, okay? And when there is a D1, of course, the object travel in a certain speed, right? So that would be S1, speed 1. And when it travel, of course, it takes time. So over there, it should be T1. And the rest of the object will move here. So when it move here, of course, there is another D2. And of course, it travel at the S2. And it takes certain time that called T2. Okay, do you notice this? Why do I put it differently like that? The reason is each scenario they have different situation. Okay, for this situation, S might equal to S2, but in this case, I just have to label like this first. And in this case, I just have to label like this first. Okay, that is one object moving. So now, what about other scenario? Other scenario is something like this. There are two objects, okay? Two objects moving. So how does it work? Same thing, town A, town B. So we travel. It's either this one start first, and after that another one start later. Okay, so for this kind of scenario, it is the same thing. You have to write, for example, for this one, there must be a specific distance it cover. I call it d1, and travel by certain speed s1, and it takes certain time t1. While this object, it also the same, it also travel the same thing, d2, I call it d2, s2, and t2. So the moral of the story is this: as long as there is a different scenario, you label the distance differently. In this case, d2. d2 meaning it's not the same as d1. Okay, and let me go through another scenario. Another scenario is this: one object moving in this way, another object from here move here. Again, we have to do the same thing just like what I did just now. D1, S1, T1, T2, S2, T2. Later on when I show you example, you will see why I asked you to do this. The reason is that when you do that, the whole thing will be very, very clear. Okay, so this is another scenario of the two objects moving. So let me proceed on to the next portion. Okay, so how each sub-formula related to each other. Okay, it's related to each other. So for example, I'm going to draw this out. Okay, let's start with here, and over here start with this one. So over here I have the whole thing, I call it D. So if I have D, I should have S, I should have T. And over here I have D1, I should have S1, I should have T1. And over here I should have D2, S2, and T2. Okay, so how do they relate to each other? In this case, if you notice, okay, the total distance from here to here is equal to d1 plus d2, meaning the distance traveled by object 1 and plus the distance traveled by object 2, which is d2. Okay, and t also the same thing, t1 plus t2. What about s? Can I say s equal to s1 plus s2? The answer is no. The speed you cannot add up to find an average speed. In order to find an average speed, just now what did I tell you? Average speed is total distance divided by total time. Okay? That is one way to know all these sub-formula relate to each other. From here, right, later on during the example, you will know why I show you this and how it is so useful that it will help you to solve any questions. Okay. One more part. Certain time in a question, they don't tell you exactly what is D2, meaning distance for the certain part of the journey or the distance for the other part of the journey. They might just say that, okay, for the first half of the journey, you see, first half of the journey, meaning, what does it mean? Meaning, the first half is 1 over 2 of the total distance. Or they can just say that the distance for the object A is 2/3 of the distance of object B. So in that case, I will just say D1 equal to, let's say 2/3 equal to 2/3 of D2. So some question that will just give you like that and expect you to go and find out by yourself. And in that case, you must be able to link to this kind of sub formula. Okay, by now I think you have certain understanding about this type of sub formula and how it related. I'm going to show you the next slide, which I already prepared, and I will take you through step by step. This is the summary page that what I have shown you just now, that I explained certain formula that how it relate to each other, the sub formula. For this, look at this. Look over here. This is one object moving, and it continue. Each object have their own sub formula. Okay, own sub formula. So during the exam or during any exercise, you just have to fill in the information over here using the information given in the question. So the moment you find all the information over here and you know what they are asking, you come to over here to see what are the formulas that you can use so that you can find whatever you want to find. And over here there are two objects moving, okay? Also the same thing. You just label one by one as what I have told you in the previous slide. And look at over here, D, it can be some fraction of D1 or some fraction of D2, or D1 is like some fraction of D2. T1, T1 also the same thing. T1 plus T2 equal to T, the timing. And where is T1? T1 is over here, T2 is over here, or T1 is belong to the red one, T2 belong to the green one. This one's supposed to be green, okay? Or we can just say that T1 equal to some fraction of T2, meaning T1 can be somewhere here and T2 can be somewhere here. And please take note that, look at over here, S is not equal to S1 plus S2. Instead, S equal to total distance divided by total time, which is the average speed. But speed, sometimes they don't give you exact too. They say that maybe the speed of the second object is, let's say, how many times of the speed of the first object. It can be 2/3, it can be 1/4, or it can be any number. So that they ask you to do some calculation first before you can get your answer. If you want this formula sheet in the PDF file, I put a link in my post. You can go there and download, and it is free. This is the best way for you to really revise and how to train yourself to think of how to solve the question step by step. Exercise 6.1. James traveled from town A to town B, which is 250 kilometers. He left town A at 9 a.m. He drove at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour for 1.5 hours. After that, he drove at a speed of 50 kilometers per hour. What time did he complete the journey? So I'm going to show you the journey that I draw over here. So let's read the question again. James traveled from town A to town B. So over here, town A to town B. Okay. He left town A at 9 a.m. So over here, 0900. Okay. 9 a.m. Okay, maybe I write somewhere here. 9 a.m. Okay. And the question is asking, right? What time here? What time? In order to find that time, we need to know, firstly, what is the time taken for the whole journey. Am I right? So if we know that the whole journey takes how long, we can just add on to the starting time. We can find over here. So that is a general okay. So next we need to fill in all the information. This is the part whereby I taught you just now at the beginning of the lesson. You need to fill in all the details over here so that you know exactly what to do. So for this case, D1, do you know? Travel from town A to town B, which is 250 kilometers. What is that? That is D, 250 kilometers, meaning the whole journey. He left town A at 9 a.m. He drove at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour for 1.5 hours. What is that? That is the speed for the first part of the journey and the time for the first part of the journey. In that case, over here, it should be 100 kilometers per hour, and over here should be 1.5 hour. And we can find D. How do you find D? Just apply the formula. D equal to D1 equal to S1 times T1, meaning the speed of the first part of the journey times the time for the first part of the journey. In that case, you can find D1. Okay, continue. After that, he drove at a speed of 50 kilometers per hour. In this case, over here is 50 km per hour. T, they don't tell. D, you also don't know. But can you find D2? You know what we have learned just now? What we have learned just now is total distance, which is the whole journey, equal to the first part of the journey add with the second part, right? And in this case, the first part of the journey we know, and the total distance we know. In the end, we are able to find the second part of the journey. So let's look at the solution. D1 equal to S1 times T1, meaning the speed for the first part of the journey times the time that taken for the first part of the journey. In that case, it's equal to 100 times 1.5 hour, right? Which is 1.5. And the answer is 150 kilometers. And I will just use that one to put it here, 150 kilometers. And next. And D2, how to find D2? Like what I explained just now, D2 meaning the distance for the second part of the journey equal to the total distance minus the first part of the journey. And in that case, 250 minus 150 equal to 100. So I can just fill it over here, 100 kilometers. If I know the distance, if I know the speed, can I find time? I can apply the formula T2 equal to D2, the distance for the second part, divided by the speed for the second part, and equal to 100 over 50 equal to 2 hours. So the whole journey over here is equal to this 2 hours over here, 1.5 hours. So if you add up, it should be 3.5 hours. Okay, so that is the answer for the total time taken, and from there you can just add on to the starting time. What is the starting time? At town A, starting time is 9 o'clock. Okay, in that case it should be 12:30. So he completed the journey at 12:30. Question 2. Mary traveled 1/4 of her journey at a speed of 40 km per hour. She took 3 hours to complete the remaining journey of 240 km. Find the average speed of the whole journey. So, in every question, we need to know two things. What are the information given and what is the question? In this case, right, what is the question? Average speed for the whole journey. In that case, average speed equal to the total journey divided by total time. So we need to find the total distance and we need to find the total time. If not, we are unable to solve this question. But let's look at the information given. Mary traveled 1/4 of her journey. In that case, one unit belongs to what she traveled, okay, and the fourth unit belongs to the whole journey at a speed of 40 km per hour. In this case, for the one unit itself, what is the speed? The speed is S1, right? Because it is belong to the first part of the journey. She took 3 hours to complete the remaining journey of 240 km. So, because this is the remaining, meaning this is another situation. This is the second part of the journey. This is T2 and this is D2. Let's draw it out to see how it works. So from here, the same thing, we fill in the information given. In this case, D1 we do not know, S1 we know, 40 km per hour, T1 we do not know, and D2 do we know? Yes, we know, 240 km. S2 do we know? We don't. T2 we know is over here 3 hours. What else do we know? We know that if, let me draw that one out again. This is the first part of the journey, which is 1 unit. And the whole journey is 4 units. Over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. In that case, over here is 3 units. So if we know 3 units, can we find 1 unit? Yes, we can. If we can find 1 unit, meaning we can find D1, right? Why do we want to find that? Why? Remember what I wrote just now. S equal to D over T. How do I find the total distance over here? Okay, how do I find? The only thing that I can think of right now is D equal to D1 plus D2. So I already know D2, and obviously I need to find D 1. And from the information given, D1 and D2 have sort of kind of from the information given, we know that D2 have 3 units and D1 is 1 unit. So in that case, it becomes quite easy to find that information, right? Okay, that is the, over here is what we need to find. We need to find D, we need to find T, but for now we can't. So we look at over here first. 3 unit, 240, which is the remaining journey, okay? So if we can find over here 1 unit, 240 divided by 3. Where did 3 come from? It's the 3 unit, okay? So 4 unit should be 80 times 4, which is 360 kilometer, and that belongs to total distance, which is 360 kilometer. We already find out here 360, 360, and we still need to find the total distance. And we still have to find the total time. So again, what I taught you in the beginning of the lesson is that T equal to T1 plus T2. We already know T2 equal to 3 hours. Can we find T1? Yes, we can. Over here, we already know D1, we already know S1, then T1 is just applying the formula. Okay, T1 equal to D1, the total distance for the first portion divided by the speed of the first portion. In that case, 80 divided by 40 equal to 2 hours. From here, we can find the total time. So total time equal to 2 plus 3 equal to 5. And the average speed, which is S, equal to 360 divided by 5, which is 72 km per hour. And that is the average speed. I hope you learned something from these 2 questions. And I would strongly encourage you to watch the first half of the video again so that you understand better how can the formula relate to each other.